people have their New Year's resolutions only to drop them at the first moment they grow bored or lazy? That was me last year when I promised myself to read at least 12 books a year. I failed miserably after picking up some trashy adult romance book for the first one, thinking it would be an experience. And it was! Not a positive one though. So this year I decided to try again, this time giving a try to all different kinds of books, and so far it's going pretty well, even though recently I had quite a long break from reading something that is not a fanfiction. I thought up a system that would let me read all different kinds of books so I wouldn't be stuck in one genre, and so my reading adventure has begun. First in line, I decided to read something that has been recommended by Penguin Random House website from the year of 2024, to see what I may have missed out on. And the first book in line was James by Percival Everett, a retelling of the story well known from the adventures of Huckleberry Finn, written by none other but Mark Twain, a classic literature position. I'm not a fan of the concept of rewriting stories in general. I don't mind reading something that implements extra plot lines in the canon events, but when crucial facts or characters are being changed from how they originally were, it feels like having no respect towards the original material. So that's how I usually felt about rewritten stories. That is, until I read James. I did not expect to get that invested in the story of Jim, who, if you have not read Twain's book, was a runaway slave accompanying Huck in his adventure. Though saying adventure from the perspective of Percival's book seems inappropriate, story of survival fits much better. Just to mention, you cannot expect a full-on review from me. It's more of a compilation of my loose thoughts and feelings that this book awakened in me. And this one surely gave me a bit of a different look on the topic of racism and slavery. Maybe it wasn't anything brand new for me, but the whole topic was so well portrayed. All the struggles and unfairness caused by racism have been shown in different forms and perspectives. How absurdly ridiculous it was to see the privileged trying to be against racism and slavery, but still wanted to be in control and were unable to accept full freedom of people with darker skin tones. And how illusionary in some cases this so-called control was, and to what lengths some could go to keep the dominants believing they are smarter and stronger, while they truly were not. I don't know how Percival Everett managed to do that. He's a true magician, but despite white privileged people being the antagonists here, they weren't generalized and just portrayed as simply bad guys. They were so well written that it was hard not to fear them from the perspective of a reader as well. I really love seeing the story through Jim's eyes. To see how much he cared about Huck genuinely warmed up my heart. This is why I did not mind that the character of Huckleberry Finn had been rewritten when it comes to his origin. It felt like a necessary change that helped glue the story together. I will not tell you what exactly the change was, as it is a huge spoiler, but it made sense and it felt right. Overall, I was positively surprised by James, and I can recommend it to anyone really. It would probably enrich the experience and interpretation if I read Adventures of Huckleberry Finn either before or after reading James, but I didn't feel like it. Seems like a good idea for an experiment though, to let one person read the source before and the other after reading Percival's work and to compare their experience. I'm just glad that I brought myself back into reading books. As a kid, I read tons of them, but then they slowly got replaced by anime content, so it feels like coming back to my roots. That's why you can definitely expect more book-focused videos coming out from me!